Hey everybody, it's Captain Kyle and I'm here with my TFCon report. Yes, I was at TFCon Chicago 2025 and I got things to say, I got things to show. I'm going to show you my haul, some really cool toys. I'm going to talk about the people, I'm going to talk about the celebrities and the con itself. And even though it was in the Windy City, it didn't blow, if you get my meaning. So sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a very fun trip that started from an airport. I'm not going to go into a Gilligan's Island thing, but I got lots to show you. And at the end, I have a bonus thing that I didn't get, but you'll understand. Be right back. So what I like to do is I like to show what I've gotten and talk about the con at the same time. And the first thing I want to show is I got this really cool, it's been opened, samurai version of Sideswipe. And I got this from a fellow YouTuber in his room party sale thing. It was a party, but you know, drinks weren't there then. Well, at least not for me. But I got this from my good friend Jason, aka Patriot Prime Reviews, and I had so much fun meeting YouTubers there. Some I had met before, Deluxe Baldwin, Treebot. I met a new one, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, that I hadn't met before. Okay, I'm going to talk about it. But anyway, Samurai Sideswipe, I'll probably review it at some point. Give me some time, I got lots of stuff to review. So anyway, I had absolutely no obligations at this con. I was pure attendee, I didn't go as press, I didn't bring cameras, I didn't record any panels, so if you're expecting to see panels, talk to the TFCon folks, they were recording shit. The only panel I was in was for a few minutes near the end, and I got into line to ask them a question. And my question was going to be, how has TFCon contributed to your alcoholism problem? Because if you watch Patriot Prime and he talks about TFCon, he talks about how many times people buy him drinks. So you can see where it could be a problem. So unfortunately, you got in there late, and I'm going to talk about that. And usually, I'm used to when people are getting off the stage, you know, a bunch of people rush up to talk to them. But one of the panelists got off the stage and he rushed up to talk to me. Lots of session, was awesome meeting him. He really wanted to be complimentary of my stuff. I honestly told him that I hadn't really watched his channel, and it's nothing against him. I very rarely watch other YouTubers' channels. One, because I don't want to get a review that's been tainted by their viewpoint if I haven't reviewed it yet. And two, I don't have a lot of time. Seriously, I don't got a lot of time. No, I run not only this channel, but another channel. And if I'm not at a con shooting for that one, I'm editing, I'm shooting here for this channel, I'm editing, and then I have a day job and I have to feed my cats, and somewhere in there I gotta eat and sleep. So I don't watch a ton of other YouTubers. I am gonna make it a point of checking out Bots of Sessions channel, you know, check out some videos, but I rarely regularly watch anybody. I will watch MGO sometimes when I'm stuck on a transformation and he's already got a video. And I know I said that I would be doing some transformation videos. It's probably not gonna happen on October. That was a very, how shall we say, optimistic viewpoint. And here is Honor to join us. But yeah, so I'm gonna show the next thing by Honor and talk about why I was so late to that panel and a couple things that I thought TFCon could improve. I enjoyed myself. I'm not putting down the con entirely, but there's always room for a little criticism. All right, next thing. I got this. I got BotCon exclusive at TFCon. It's an older one. It's Kick Over, aka Kick Off, and he apparently is complete. He's got his instructions, he's got his card, and there he is. I'm not gonna review him at this moment. He's obviously a repaint of Jazz from like the Classics line, I believe, or the Generations. I don't know, there's so many lines, it's hard to keep track. But I got him for a very good price. There was a gentleman selling in the lobby who had it for like a couple hundred. That's not what I paid. I found a gentleman who had it for much less, and I always try to bargain. And even though it was a good price, I bargained him down a little bit more. So I got myself a Kick Over, aka Kick Off, aka whatever you want to call it. So why did I get to the panel so late? Well, they opened registration so that you can get your wristband at 5 p.m., which I thought was odd. People were waiting around in the lobby for hours. They could have, you know, just opened it up earlier. A lot of other cons have the registration open earlier, but they opened it up at 5. The YouTuber panel was at 6. The line went around and outside and around. It was super long. And luckily, I met a very lovely lady there, Veronica, and her son, and I make it a point not to speak of minors' names on this channel just because, but you know who you are. He's my boy. And his friend and his friend's dad waited in line and then saved us a spot, so we didn't have to wait in line so long. But by the time we got our wristbands, it was 6:45, and there was a lot of people behind us. So people didn't get the opportunity to go to this panel because, I mean, it was a pretty full panel, but they couldn't go to it because they started registration at 5 and the first panel was at 6. And I think that was bad planning on their part. I mean, maybe they were like, it's only YouTubers, but still, come on. People want to meet these YouTubers. There are so many people came up to me, I can't remember all their names, and they thanked me, and they just complimented my work, and some wanted selfies. It was very heartening. It was very flattering that so many people recognized me. Some were like, hey, wait a minute, aren't you on YouTube? Oh, wait, yeah, I've seen your videos. And some people were like, oh, I know who you are. Not in a creepy way. Well, maybe Emmanuel, but no, we'll talk about him later. But it's just great to meet people who appreciate what I do, and I'm glad people came up to me. I hope no one was like, oh shit, that's Captain Kyle, I can't talk to him, because that's not who I am. I'm a collector just like you guys. I just happen to have some YouTube experience and like showing off toys, and some people like my really bad jokes. Once in a while, there's a good one. I can't recall any at this time, but anyways, so I thought that was bad planning. Next item, it's a box. Yes, it's a black box. And you might look at this and think, oh, that is the HasCon RC. It is not. I already have the HasCon RC. This, which had a piece of tape on it, which I used a sharp object. Someone was carrying a box cutter. And yeah, but this is Grotesque, an exclusive that I did not have from Titans Returns. One of the monster bots. He comes with an extra head. I'm not sure. It's a Scorponok head, actually. I know this because it says it on the back. And it's got cards. It's a really cool thing. So this is one of the purchases I made. I may get all the monster bots together and do a little monster box review. I don't have all the originals. In fact, if you ever watched the Repugnus versus review, I had borrowed Repugnus from my good friends Tony and Rose on RetroCon. But anyway, so that is another thing that I spent. You know, you go and you're like, I'm not going to spend that much money. And then you spend more than you anticipated. But I didn't get any of the TFCon exclusives. And I think the Chosen Prime puts them out, but I think other companies have them. And that's one thing I will say when you go to BotCon, and I know BotCon and TFCon are rivals, but you can enjoy both. BotCon, you know exactly where to go, where the exclusives are. They have very clearly marked, you can go there. I looked around, I didn't know where the exclusives were supposed to be. It was so crowded on Saturday that I couldn't really move I made a circuit through there, said hi to a couple friends, and then I was like, I need air. It was so crowded. So they might want to consider a bigger venue next time, or maybe a second dealer room. I don't know, but it was just, hey, Honor, you're back. Glad to see you back. And she just wants to show her butt to the world. You know, again, I enjoyed the con. This is just another bit of constructive criticism. Perhaps, you know, work out something where all the exclusives are in one section, very clearly marked. Big thing that says TFCon exclusives here, because I looked around, I couldn't find them. They weren't clearly marked. And I have to say, a lot of the exclusives were very expensive. And, you know, one thing in the old days when BotCon was getting exclusives, yeah, the entire set was pretty expensive, but you could get some things, you know, they were like twice to maybe 3 times the price of the original molded toy. But I mean, with these third parties, a lot of them are apparently pretty damn expensive. So I don't know. I went and they said that they only had the exclusive from Toronto left, which was, well, a third party snare from the Predators. But what are you doing? But yeah, that's another criticism, but I want to show you my next toy. I'm going to kind of do 2 at once. So I didn't have them. I decided to get the Robots in Disguise Autobot Ratchet. And there is a price tag on it. There, you can see what the price tag was. I didn't pay that. Again, I have a tendency to, you know, wheel and deal a bit. That's how I am. Some people don't. And that's totally up to you. I actually, on behalf of Veronica and her lovely son, again, will not mention minors' names on this channel. Anyway, you know, they even asked my assistance in bargaining at some points, which, you know, I am very happy to do. Yeah, so I got this. I don't know, at one point maybe I will do a evolution of Ratchet and include this one, even though he's like a Robots in Disguise line, because he looks very cool. And I did not have him. This is one of the ones I missed out on. And I'm sure I could scan his thingamabob and it would be good. I also, now, if you watched my last haul and report from TFCon in Baltimore, I was showing off my stuff proudly and I had a tailgate and I put it up and then I realized there was a hole in his chest. It's like he took the place of Windcharger in the movie. So I actually ran into the vendor who I had bought it from and he replaced it with this one. Now this is not a perfect in shape tailgate, but he doesn't have a hole in his chest. But I'm gonna have to do some work. He's got some rust on him. I'm gonna try some rust remover. He also, you can see the chrome on his legs is like totally worn away, but that's what they make chrome pens for. So I'm gonna make him look a bit nicer than he is now, and he will go into my collection. But it was very cool of a particular vendor to basically take my word for it. I don't know if he saw the video and say, oh, there was a hole in the chest. Here, you can either buy this one, haha, I could rip you off with that, or you can just take this as a replacement. I chose the latter just because, you know, I wasn't gonna get ripped off. No, he obviously did not mean to do that. There are vendors who are unscrupulous, but the majority of the ones that I met, I can't think of anyone who wasn't a good vendor. I did run into one who would not budge on prices at all, which I find odd. I mean, it's just, you got to realize that people, especially on Sunday, you know, you don't want to pack up the stuff. If you still have it, you know, maybe come down a little bit on the price, but they would not budge. So I decided that a particular piece, which would have been cool to get, was not worth the price they were asking. So, but none of the vendors were horrible. I didn't see no one trying to rip anyone off. I did see price over here was higher than over here, but it's all good. Oh, and I sold some stuff. I had an Extra Generations Metroplex without the missile or scamper, and someone bought that first night like, wow. Anyways, next item. An item I did not think I was gonna get. I wasn't gonna order it online, but it was there, and it is the Mechagodzilla Optimus Prime that goes with the Godzilla Megatron. So I will probably break this out at some point. It is obviously a repaint of Optimus Prime, and I got it more because it's a repaint of Optimus Prime and it looks cool than the Mechagodzilla part, because he doesn't look like Mechagodzilla. Even Megatron doesn't really look like, but at least he's like a dinosaur shape, but he looks more like Godzilla than this looks like Mechagodzilla. So I was just like, a cool repaint. I love repaints. So it was a not unreasonable price, particularly since I had some cash. Now, I will say this about cons and dealing with vendors. Cash is always preferred by the vendor. I'm not going to say that that means that they don't have to claim it on their taxes. I'm not saying that, but they're usually more willing to bargain if you have cash. A lot of them will take credit cards, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, you know, firstborn children, but cash is king when you're negotiating. So eventually we'll probably put this, I don't know if I'm gonna get to it this year. There's a video I've been planning for a long time, all about Optimus, and we'll see if it gets done this year. It's gonna take a lot of work and it's probably not even gonna be that long. But anyways, moving on, next items. I'm gonna do the next 3 as a set. I got 3 of these Kabaya model kits. Sealed, very cool. We got Magnus, I want the Matrix. We've got Prowl, and we've got Hotspot, who, interestingly enough, was voiced by Dan Gilvezan. But yes, I got these. I took the price tags off. I bargained and, you know, probably caused them pain. Thanks for accepting my bargains, Paul and Paul. But yeah, so I love these things. At some point, I will do a review on them. And yeah, they weren't hideously expensive. And then I caused the vendor some pain. Oh, one thing I didn't mention. I don't know if you've been noticing this shirt. This shirt, I don't know if you saw the community post, but this is a shirt I actually commissioned an artist to have it done in time for BotCon. That artist turned out to not be so productive. In fact, owes me a refund, and I will be contacting him because he said he would refund it this month. But I found a better artist, a more reliable artist. I mean, I can't compare artwork because I never saw something from the first artist. But this, I wanted it done by TFCon, and it was done by TFCon. And I was able to get a shirt. This is Soundwave and his amazing friends. And if you're not familiar with what this is parodying, look up Spider-Man and his amazing friends, where Spider-Man was voiced by Dan Gilvezan, who also is Bumblebee. So it might have made sense to have Bumblebee and his amazing friends, but I mean, he doesn't really have, he has friends, but what was I going to do? Bumblebee, Spike, and Chip Chase? So I put Soundwave and his amazing friends. It's got all the cassettes that were released during G1 in the US. Obviously, there's Autobot cassettes, but those would be with Blaster. I don't know that I'm going to do a Blaster in him as amazing friends, but this is a very cool shirt and is now available. I have a link in the description. There's also a community post that has the link, and hopefully you can go ahead and purchase this shirt if you'd like it. It's cheaper than the old store. I also have the I Watch Toy Spotlight for the cat shirts available on there as well, and there'll be more designs. And if this does well, I have some even more cool designs that I'm planning on having created by this awesome artist. He did an amazing job, lad. And yeah, so check out the link if you want this shirt. And the way the store works, I can only do like one color per product. So there's a purple one. There's another product that has a blue, and then there's a black, and then I think there's a gray. So don't be like, why can I only choose this color? It's a different product. It's a simple store. We may get fancier in the future, but that depends on how well you like these shirts and other shirts. But moving on. Okay, only a couple things left and then the bonus item. So this is from Transformers Prime. Also says Robots in Disguise on here somewhere, I think. Yep. But this is a Transformers Prime Thundertron. Now, I did not have Transformers Prime Thundertron. I had the new one, and I was thinking about getting the older one, and I saw a bunch of people had it. And this one, the weapon has come loose, even though it's sealed, and I've seen this happen before. The weapon has come loose inside, but it's all complete, it's fine, and this was half the price of what other people were asking. And I almost feel bad, but I gave him less and it was even marked. So, I mean, I didn't like throw it at him and run, had a deal. But yeah, so I got this one. I may do a comparison at some point. I know I already reviewed the regular Legacy release of Thundertron. I never did the one that came with all the extras, so who knows. If you guys want a versus review, you let me know. But okay, well, 2 more items and then the bonus. 1 item, YOLO Part just gave me some stickers. It's very cool. They also gave my companion, Veronica, a very nice folder that she would pass on to her son for use in schoolwork. But you want these? Honor? No, you just want to get in my way and put your tail in my face. I'm not going to make any jokes about tail and faces, but yeah, it was a great time before I get to the last item. I mean, we were hanging out. A lot of people were hanging out in the lobby. There's a lot of great cosplayers. I saw so many Starscreams, and I switched between Starscream, you fool, what are you doing? And Coronation Starscream, this is bad comedy. So I would yell at them, Galvatron, Megatron, we are the same person. And there were great cosplayers that I've seen at other cons. Abigail was there. She does a great Alita 1. I forget her cosplay name. I didn't grab her card, but I see her at a lot of cons. And I forget the other people's names because I'm horrible with most names. But there were some awesome cosplayers there. And I think they had a guest table area and some were there just having fun. And I saw a human form Ultra Magnus from the Only Human episode. I saw, again, lots of Starscreams. I saw Megatrons. I saw Optimuses. I saw people with just the Megatron arm. I saw so many. There were Skywarps and, other Seekers too. It wasn't just Starscream. And yeah, and some of the Starscreams had the audacity to have a crown. Coronation Starscream. Seriously? So yeah, lots of great people there, and there was some drinking. I am by no means trying to advocate consumption of alcohol. I think that's totally up to you, and for some reason I occasionally broke out my William Shatner impression. But yeah, there was drinking. I didn't see anyone get too wasted, but I went to go back. I wasn't in the host hotel. I went to go back to my hotel, and I was gonna go down the elevator, and there was Jason from Patriot Prime and Emmanuel and several other friends, and they dragged me, kicking and screaming, to the room that was their room. I think it was Emmanuel's room, and forced me to imbibe alcoholic beverages. Wow, it was so amazing with lemonade and vodka. And anyway, I had a couple shots. They wanted me to stay for more. I think I got out of there before I got too foolish. But Emmanuel, thank you so much, and stay away from my wife. Know what I'm talking about. So, the final item that I got is this. This is the Specialist Decepticon set, and it has an interesting set because it's got Galvatron in it. It's got Octane and Astrotrain. They're all the classic line molds, but they're very metallic and shiny, and they look so nice. And yes, I'm gonna open them. This one was actually opened, and bargains were made. There was a sealed one, which obviously would have cost more, but I don't care the fact that it's open because I'm gonna open it anyway. In fact, I don't have to feel bad about opening it. But yes, this was a major purchase that I made. Now, you may wonder, did I get any autographs or pictures with any of the celebrities? And no. And the reason is because I'm generally running around many a con, and I get pictures with lots of celebrities. And I did stop by to see David Kaye. He's an awesome guy. If you want his autograph or picture, definitely worth it. I've interviewed the man, and I hope to convince Tony and Rose to bring him and Gary Chalk maybe back to RetroCon at the same time so they could, fight. Not physically, verbally. Spar. And I did see Bob Budiansky. If you're not familiar, he is the one that came up with most of the G1 names and wrote a lot of the G1 comic books for Marvel. So it would have been rude not to say hi to him. I mean, I've been to his house doing interviews with him, so he probably doesn't even remember, but I'm gonna help him out with improving his PowerPoint that he shows at cons. And I have to check the names because the pronunciation on some of them, I am not 100%. But I didn't say hi to all the celebs because I didn't know all the celebs. But there were a few that I had seen before at a BotCon. I saw Xavier Paul Cadeau. I'm not sure how that is pronounced. No, I'm sorry. He was there. I did not talk to him. Let me look at the guests list. I saw Arthur Burghardt, and we cheered when he went by in the lobby for him. I mean, there were people I would have loved to have met, but I didn't want to go to their tables without, buying something from them. Dick Terhune I spoke to because I had spoken to him for a bit. Great guy. He actually does he offers lessons for voice acting. So if that's something you want to get into, stop asking at a con during a panel, how do I get into voice acting? Because they're not going to be able to give you a good answer. Go talk to Dick. Go to iwannabeavoiceactor.com. There's plenty of resources. And Travis Artz. I had seen him before. He remembered me, and yeah, it was awesome chatting with him. And yeah, those are the only ones that I spoke to. I saw Vince DiCola. Would have loved to have talked to him, but he's pretty busy most of the time. But yeah, I saw Bob Budiansky, said hi to him. I did have a chat with Tony, who runs TFW 2005 at the party, and I'll tell you about the party. But anyway, that's the last of the items that I bought there. I mean, I bought food, but I'm not going to regurgitate it so you can see it. Not with a hell of a lot of super thanks. And then I'd have to do it in a different video. But, $200 in super thanks, and I'll puke up what I ate. No, I'm kidding. It's digested. You don't want to see where it came out. Anyways, so yeah, there was an after party. Thing was, I did not actually buy a ticket for the after party. I did not know what the after party was. It did not have much of a description. It didn't say what would be there, what you would get. I think it was like $40. I hear they had nachos and they had alcoholic beverages that you could purchase. And Tony came up to me and he said it was 70% smooth and 30% dumpster fire. He's not a party planner. He actually should have talked to me because I used to organize events, but I'm a jerk of all trades. But yeah, the party, there were a lot of complaints that it was very warm. They were playing music in there very loudly, and people couldn't really converse unless they, shouted in each other's ears. And, there were good nachos, but they did give out gift bags and t-shirts, so you got a t-shirt. So it was probably worth the price of the ticket. That some people took more than one t-shirt, and they shouldn't have, and that's just wrong. I mean, it's a shame to see, thievery at a convention. We're all there. If you can't afford something, then you can't afford something. And if you paid for one item, don't take two. That's just rude. I mean, I did not get a t-shirt. I didn't pay for a ticket. And I went down as the party was closing, and they were kind enough to let me in. And that's when I got to talk to Tony and got some pictures in front of the TFW 2005 backdrop. And yeah, but I think if they're going to do another party, they need some help. They need to plan it a little bit better and give a description. I didn't even know where to buy the ticket, and, I might have done it, not that I could afford it after all this. But those are all the items. Yes, those are all the items that I bought. But I want to get back to the one panel that I went to, and that was the YouTuber panel. And I was there, and someone asked what the holy grail was for each of the YouTubers. And Jason was saying how he almost had all of the US G1s, and I'm a little envious. I was there. I had all the USG ones, and I had some Japanese and some European, but yeah, I was there, but the purge happened. So now he's way ahead of me. He's almost complete with all his USG ones, and good for him. That's awesome. And other people talked, but I heard one YouTuber, I forget which channel he was with, and I'm too lazy to look on my phone to see who it was, but he mentioned one particular item. And if you're watching, you might want to contact me because I might be willing to consider letting go of this. I mean, it is sealed in box. And for those who've never seen it, this is a Transformers Animated Blackout, only released in Japan. This is mint and sealed box and a wonderful toy. And I got it for whatever reason. I did not decide to open it. It's got a little dust, but that can be cleaned up if you're going to keep it mint in box. And I actually bought it to a con at one point when I did consider selling it, but when it didn't sell, I decided to keep it. But this is the holy grail of somebody. I might be willing. It is a cool toy. So anyways, TFCon Chicago. It was a lot of fun. It's right by Chicago O'Hare Airport. I, of course, flew into Midway. So I had this crazy-ass taxi driver weaving in and out of traffic, charged me $90. Cost me, almost as much as my flight to get from the airport to O'Hare. But flying into O'Hare is more expensive, so I think I saved money. And I had a great Uber driver back, and it was cheaper than the $90 by a third. So would I go again? Yeah. The one kind of downside is some people go and they do lobby sales. And I understand the reason a staff volunteer person came out and said, you can't sell. You can do a room party and sell stuff if you want, but you cannot sell in the lobby because they have vendors who pay a lot for a table, and it's not fair to them. Trust me, the vendors did not feel any loss based on whatever lobby sales we did. And quite often vendors themselves will go into the lobby on the night before. So maybe I hear tell that they're thinking about having it more of a 3-day con, even though there were some things going on Friday. But maybe the dealer room will be open on Friday and there'll be less opportunity for people to sell in the lobby. But I thought it was much ado about nothing because obviously you got so many people there and a few folks selling some extras in the lobby wasn't going to be a big deal. And if they're in the host hotel, which I will try to make a point of being in the host hotel next time, then they just put it on a bulletin board, which they provide, that says room party. And then people go to the room and they buy the stuff. And trust me, those get a lot of traffic. So I don't think it's that big of a deal to have lobby sales. I think it just makes it more convenient for people so they don't have to go traipsing around and making noise in the hallway. And I think it's actually more considerate for the guests who are actually maybe trying to sleep. But that's my thought. But yes, lots of stuff. Lots of good times. On Sunday, I was going to have Chicago deep dish. I've had it before, but I was going to have it again. It did not seem that there was enough time. And then, of course, my flight was delayed. So there would have been enough time. But it's all good. Again, thanks to everybody who said hi to me. I even got some messages. Bruce, thanks for reaching out. My day job's IT. His day job's IT. I'm not going to say anything more because you don't need to know. But I am a jerk of all trades. And I did get a message from a YouTuber that ran into me who wanted a shout out. Thai Guy Reviews. It's at TYGUY1789. Relatively new channel. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at it too much, but he said hi. He wanted a shout out. There's your shout out. But, thanks for saying hi and having kind words about my channel, which, if you're not subscribed, you only want to do that if you watched this and haven't been totally bored out of your mind. So I'm trying to think if there was anything else of note. Just a lot of fun with a lot of great people, a lot of great conversations. In the hotel lobby, that seemed to be like where all the cool kids hung out, like after hours. And if you haven't made it to a TFCon, definitely check one out. Also BotCon. I saw my friend Derek, who's worked with BotCon. He was there being supportive of another Transformers Con. And BotCon, they haven't announced the location or dates yet, but keep an eye out for that. Because for me, going to these things, yes, I can get wonderful, wonderful toys. Where does he get the wonderful toys? Well, I get them lots of places, but, there's wonderful toys involved, but there's also wonderful people. You get to meet people who like the same stuff as you and knock over toys right in front of you. You get to interact with voice actors and artists and just cool people who were involved in the trade. Aaron Archer was there. Awesome guy. I didn't mention him as a celebrity. I didn't see him on the list. Aaron Archer was there. And he was handing out little Angry Archer stickers, which is awesome if you watched animated. And, but he never seemed angry. He always, very cool guy. Always a pleasure to see him. Yeah, it's just a community. It's a place where everyone can be themselves, let their geek flag fly. There were people who, were in human form costumes. There were people in like full armor costumes. There were people in no costumes, but with great shirts. Like this one, which you can find the link in the description. Yeah, there's just a lot of great people, and they all had Transformers, these little pieces of plastic crack, all in common. And you get to meet some great people who might become lifelong friends or, a third mistake or something like that. You never know what could happen. So anyways, that's all I have for you. If someone wants to make me a really high offer on this, who might be a YouTuber, we can talk. And if you've had fun here, go ahead and subscribe. That'd be awesome of you. And while you're gaping at all this stuff, you want to gape at other stuff, I actually have a BotCon review over here that you can check out and see what I said about that particular con, with no punches pulled for any con. This one, that one, any con. I tell it like it is. And we will see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.